Hey there. Suzy Boo here. Nice to be back. How have you been? Um, I will make more frequent videos. Ah. Okay. Um, it's nice to hear from you guys. I really, really enjoy hearing from you. And I just put a question out last night. If I could see a show of hands who's interested in learning how to, on a beginner's level, connect with your higher power, learn how to read energy, people, read a room. And I think I got about 10 people already. I posted it at 2:22 a.m. on today, the 22nd. I'm normally never up that late. But there's some energies going on, and we're in this whole basket configuration, astrologically speaking. And so get this. I was teaching my astrology course um yesterday afternoon, and we were looking at next week's full moon. It's a big one, but I didn't realize how big it is. So what I ended up doing is I pulled up the chart of the United States and put that full moon on it. And then I pulled up Trump's chart and put the full moon on it. Something's happening. So let's take a look and let me pull it apart and walk you through what I'm seeing, because I think it's kind of mind blowing. So let me share here. All right, here's a chart for the United States. And now I'm going to put the full moon of the 29th, and it's somewhere around 11 in the morning. Yeah. So here it is. Now check this out, because you never want to make a big prediction because of one aspect. There needs to be at least three. But when there's something going on, there's even more than that. And so as we were looking at this, it was like and. So let's take a look. Now, by this full moon on the 29th, the nodes of fate, or the nodes of the moon, have now changed signs into their new sign for the next year and a half. Okay, so I'll do a separate video about the moon's nodes because they're super important. It has to do with your fate and fated events. But for today, we are looking at the chart of the United States and this very potent full moon. Now, what's obvious to me, the big deal, one of the big deals, is the sun is with Jupiter on this day. Okay, so Jupiter inflates, expands, magnifies whatever it touches. So the vitality of the sun, which is now in rulership, being in the sign of Leo, it's more, it's big, it's grandiosity, but it's also hope. I'm hearing a 60s song, wishing and hoping and thinking and dreaming. Was that Dusty Springfield? Okay, so with Jupiter, it's not enough to hope or wish. Now, Jupiter requires a little bit of action. And so you got to show up. One of the things I say all the time is if you need to catch the bus, well, you got to be at the bus stop. All right. So if you want this job at this location, did you apply? Right? You need to let the universe know what you are interested in. What is your goal? What is your dream? What do you want to be doing? What is your mission, accomplishment, purpose? Start to really think about this, regardless of your calendar age. Okay, forget age. This is a very now the sun with Jupiter happens every year, so that in and of itself is not a big deal. Oh, look, it's exactly on the north node of the United States. That doesn't happen every day. The same degree. That's crazy to me. So that's one thing. So what does that mean? It's in the eighth house of investments, investors, joint resources. Who are you in bed with? It's the house of intimacy. And plutocracy also. Okay. It's lots of things. Now, Mercury is out of retrograde. I'm filming this on July 22nd, the day that the sun goes into its rulership of Leo. It's home. The sun is home in Leo. And Jupiter also loves to be in Leo too. I keep on wanting to venture off. I will stick to why I made this video. The sun Jupiter on the United States' destiny mark, North Node, in the eighth house. On one level, that is a type of a death. Think of, well, because I do mostly personal astrology, but think of the premise of the rising phoenix. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Things need to die so that new things can be born. It's like if you are going to remodel your kitchen, like totally, well, you gotta gut it first. You can't install new countertops and cabinets if you didn't rip out the old ones. So the old ones, that's considered that has to die. It's got to go away so that healthy new can come in. Or the example I really like is trees. Like I'm in Western New York, so we have all four seasons quite vividly here. When it is autumn here and the sun is in fall, that's why we call it fall, the leaves die and fall off. Now, if those leaves stayed on, it's kind of like they're clogging the pores of the tree, and it'll pretty much suffocate the tree. Those leaves have to fall off and die, and then it creates shelter and food for other animals, and bacteria and all that stuff. And then it breaks down and it makes like fertilizer and healthy things from which new life can grow and emerge. So it's the whole process of decomposing to purify. Yeah, that's it. Um, in that eighth house. Now, Mercury in water is not loud, but it is initiatory. It didn't just get there, but it is going direct now. And it is only degrees past the sun of the United States, which is its leadership. All right, now we can just go to the next thing. So right now I'm not going to go in order of importance. I'm going to where my eyeball went next. Like look for the tic-tac-toes. Where are things lined up? All right, so the next thing I see right up here on this day, the full moon, when during that peak of the full moon, Venus is right in between Lilith, dark secrets, where I have a lot of strength. Oh, guess what? It's in the sign of Virgo. What's that? Health and medical. And Neptune, which is mysticism, which is fog, which is there's nothing to see here, which means there's definitely something to see here. And Venus is resources, financials. This to me says something is coming untangled underground that will come to the surface. And I really feel the words dirty politics. And it is in the ninth house, which happens to be people in a position of authority, scholars, teachers, mentors, leaders, um, people of foreign cultures, other languages. All right. Now it's unclear. Venus in between these things, it means where, to me, this is the way I interpret this, where there has been a fog cast over the people. Oh, what does that remind you of? What are they filling our clouds with, right? And then fires. Okay. And it left this horrible haze, thick air, right? Now, the element of earth, which Venus is in, that's not air, it's earth, it's heavy. But it's still these premises anyway. Okay. Let's go to what's the next line up here? Oh, look over here. Mars. So Mars only comes back to its original point every 2 years. And it is this day on the full moon. So what is a full moon? The full moon is when there is an enormous spotlight where it has been dark. On a personal level, it is what in my life has been unconscious, subconscious, and suddenly a light is shined upon it to help me to see what I need to see to make more informed choices for my life going forward. Now, being it's a moon, the moon is emotions, emotional, but it's also spiritual understanding. Because if you think of the moon is the tides, the moon is in its rulership, it's in the sign of Cancer, which is water, and water is a conductor of spirit. We know on full moons, people go batched crazy, lunacy. Okay. So this is a very significant full moon. Like for real, for real. All right, next. Well, I didn't finish that. So what does this mean? So Mars coming back to Mars, that means I am putting my foot down. I am going to assert myself. But where is it? It's in the seventh house, which is others. It's not me, it's we. So now it is our contracts, our negotiations, our agreements, our bargains. It is, and it is in the air sign, is in the air sign of Gemini, which is two. There may be um a split decision, a split double talk, like fooled ya. um there the next word that just came in is traitorship. I don't know that that's actually a word, but being a traitor, traitorship. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. So it's definitely something. um I almost feel like Patriot Day. Now, that doesn't have any historical meaning to me in saying that. That is being told to me intuitively, like in a picture in my head. Okay, so Mars with Mars, transiting Mars, conjuncting Mars, it's the Mars return. Again, it happens every 2 years. So, in and of itself, it's not a big deal. But when you have it happening at the same degree as all these other things that are happening at the same degree, now it's a big deal. And so, all these things are highly impactive. I don't know if I made that word up or not, but I do things like that. Okay. So Mars is also how I assert myself. It is my ambition. It's why I get up every day. But it's also the god of war, too. All right. So there may be what's the word? Secession. I feel pulling out. Succession. I might not be seeing it right in my head, but it's SEC. Succeedant, something like this. It could be a withdrawal. Something's going on. I do feel like I said this just to get like almost like coercion. Like I said this to get your signature. Got it. And now the real truth comes out. I almost feel like what do you call that besides deception? It's like using somebody to get you what you want. I have that feeling, coercion. I have that feeling. And again, where is it? It's in the seventh house. So it isn't the identity solely of the country, it is the partnerships with the country. It is, oh, Mars is also cutting and surgeries and assertion, anger, volatility. It doesn't have to be taken in a negative way. But we want to look at all angles, really. And being the seventh house is an angular house. So that means that what I see in my head, a force to be reckoned with. And so this is an ignition point. All right. So Mars is the spark. Something is sparking at an ignition point that has to do with partnerships that the United States has. And that would be even, all of those agreement things, pacts and treaties and all that kind of stuff. All right. The next thing I'm seeing here is Pallas Athene is talking to America's wound, this identity wound. So Chiron, the wounded healer, was able to heal everybody else, but not his own self. And why and how was this country formed in the first place? It was fighting to get out of the rule and the dictatorship, or that wasn't the right word, but it's the word that intuitively came through, so I shouldn't have shut it down. It is the close monitoring. So, by today's standards, that would be surveillance, privacy issues of the identity. So, in how it relates for the United States, when we were just the 13 colonies and then declared our independence from the mother country, it's just so crazy. Pallas, this yellow diamond with the tail at the bottom. This is pattern recognition. And so those of us who have created our families in America at home where we are supposed to feel safe and secure, nurtured in our own home, on our own soil, in our own mother country, we are seeing the patterns and the pattern recognition of what happened previously. Super crazy, isn't it? And then we want to bring our Vesta, the hearth, like the fireplace, the heart of our home, into play and say, you know what? No, I have a right to have my own privacy, to have people that I consider as family around the hearth of my home, where we can also have safe dinner together, food together. Because this fourth house in, I call it a vanilla chart, in a natural house system, has rulership in the sign of Cancer. So in this vanilla chart, if it was not for a person or not for somebody specific, then Cancer would be on that cusp, which happens to still be an ignition point because it is also an angular house. All right. The next thing, which is pretty exciting, the North Node down here at 29 degrees is running with Chericlo, who I adore. Um, these are speaking to the United States's Pallas, Athene, pattern recognition, and being able, it's I almost feel like crafty, being able to figure things out and sort things out intuitively based on repetition and telepathy. But even more important, it is the moon of the United States, and the moon is the people. That's us. Now it's in the third house, which happens to be neighbors and neighborhoods, communication, commerce, trade. And the United States' moon is in the sign of Aquarius. which is, guess what? Emotionally detached. So the moon is not especially comfy there, but it helps us to stand on our own ground and to choose what neighborhood, what hill. I don't even want to say those words. If you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything. And so guess what? The sign of a Aquarius, which America's moon is in, that's the sign of awakening. It's the sign of extraterrestrials. It's high level technology. High level. It's innovative, it's inventions, but it's also the collective. Aquarius is the collective. It's our groups, it's our tribe. It's our colleagues, it's our cohorts and coworkers. And it also represents we, the people. Why this is so gosh darn it, I'm getting the goosebumps. Why this is so exciting is that the North Node, what the collective needs for healing, it's getting ready to align with America's moon. That's us. So what we need for healing as the collective is not AI. Well, there's a lot of bit of good in it, but guess what? You see everybody's flyer looks the same. You get that phony styrofoam feel. It doesn't feel like personality. And I don't know about you, but I'm already getting fatigued with that. Like people put up their flyers and it's like, oh, like they all look the same. Even though they're cool, they all look the same. And so it's already starting to lose its luster with we the people. And we do not want data centers installed in our backyard, stealing our water. And why do you want to launch one into space? Like, if it's not good here, why is it good there? As above, so below, and vice versa. Stop. Because it is already invented ways to cool these systems. Shut up. They're trying to give us this archaic dinosaur age about modern stuff. It's a fallacy, is what I'm understanding. It's unjust. The next word I see is shame, and it's because it's not truthful. And so we're going to get privy to this and definitely continued actions with the extraterrestrials, which, by the way, you are. Okay. So that's a very big deal. So these nodes that have just changed signs are going to stay in these signs for the next year and a half. Just got here, will be here for the next 18 and a half months in the sign of Aquarius and Leo with the North Node, which is the good, what we need for healing, but it's also insatiable thirst. Um, or whatever, insatiable hunger, whatever. Um, it's what we need. And so this, now I'm going to pair that up, even though we didn't get there yet, with the fact that Pluto is and will continue to be out of bounds. And my understanding, thank you to Pam Gregory, who, oh gosh darn, I can't find the name. She cites her all the time. She's got a simple one syllable first name. I can't find it. Please forgive me, but you'd have to look it up. Who has studied this for a very extensive period of time. And when Pluto goes out of bounds to the south, that is, those are periods of time that the big power comes back to the people. There's revolution, the um what's that called? I know I'm not going to say the right word because I wasn't good at social studies and history. Um, the storming of Bastille, beheading, where the top down, who are very, very wealthy, the massive separation in social economic class gets destroyed by the people. Okay, so just kind of make a mental note of that. Like there's so much juice in this chart. It's crazy. All right, so now the South Node is in Leo, and Leo is leadership. Leo is kings, kings and queens and celebrities and s- the big sparkly famous people. Now we are already fatigued with them. Like, I don't know about, okay, so I don't do media. I don't do TV. I don't do movies. I'm very unplugged. Um, and even if I try to watch a movie, I fall asleep within seconds. So I understand I'm not supposed to be receiving whatever the stuff is in movies, which is okay. But I might be a little bit hard to make discussion with. I am not one of small talk. Anyways, it's not about me. Okay. Um, Let us continue here. Oh, no, no, no. So the nodes are going to be in Aquarius and Leo for the next year and a half. Now, this South Node in Leo, it's going to scour, like exfoliate foreign investment, foreign affairs, who's in bed with who, eli- elitism, which just stick with it, and also foreign travel. And so this open doors or not open doors, and who can travel, and visas, and all this kind of thing. And who flies above everybody else. Okay, those secretive flights, if you will. All right, comes tumbling down, undoing. I also feel I need to say civil unrest. Now, with that South Node coming through Leo, it just got there. We're on the full moon of the 29th. So it's at the end of the sign because they always go backwards. All right. So over the next year and a half, it's going to come down through this ninth house, which has to do with purpose and independence and freedom. Well, we can't get there with these royalties in the way. Royalties, leadership, kings, queens, elitism, all that crap. We can't get there. And so it's going to be like getting the really good cleaner to get the permanent marker graffiti off of our mind, our television screens, our movie theaters, our media, what we've been ingrained, embedded, branded, like how a cow is branded. Um, all of that stuff. It's going to be an unbrainwashing on a subconscious level. It will become conscious. Now, this is going to, by the time we get to a year and a half, it will be with the South Node will be with the North Node of the United States. And guess what that means? Endings, closure. That's what. Now, we already know we're in the middle of everything because all the outer planets change signs within 2 years. That's a big deal, unprecedented. But the fact that we're having this basket configuration currently, right now, which many people are calling it the Barbeau's basket. And if you saw Leo King's video, he's just keeping Barbeau's basket. He's funny as fuck. Anyway, um, it's a thing. Now, that 4 degree of the outer planets is definitely talking to the nodes of fate to the United States. And this day, the full moon, we've got the sun with Jupiter expanding it in the eighth house of, oh my God. So I got interrupted with the word foreclosure. Um, yeah, it is the housing market. It is the real estate. It is, oh my God. It is like foreign entities that are buying up our land. OMG. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's one of the things. that it becomes made known. Wow. And go right across. Now we're going to go from the ninth house in the north node at 6 to the country south node at 6 of Aquarius down here, which kabam, there's the moon. That's us. But there's Pluto there and there's Juno there. So who is married to who? Now that doesn't take too much to know, because everybody in politics is married to somebody in media who is married to somebody in the collegiate level. And I don't want to go any further than that. You can do that on your own math. Okay, so we have this big full moon being made bigger with our daytime, what we see in the light in the sign of Leo, helping lead the country in the direction it needs to go. But something needs to die. There's going to be doesn't always necessarily mean a literal death, but it could be. And then we go down here to the second house where we have Juno with Pluto. That very well can be a betrayal, coercion. This is going to be the dirty underground things. What is under the ground that we can't see? Bunkers, trafficking, all those other horrible things. And that is holding hands with the moon, which is now full. Okay? What does that mean? One, it's very possible because these are in Aquarius. Aquarius is unpredictable. It is awakening, but it's also lightning and earthquakes and unpredictable things that are happening in the United States' second house, which is our finances, our soil, our earth, our resources. This is huge. So what that is suggesting, as far as I see, is on quote unquote underground operations. There could be an earthquake or a pretend force of God, or maybe it's a real force of God that that okay, me and my cartoony self, I'm being reminded of the What's Opera doc. And when Elmer Fudd is like, north winds blow, hurricane, smog, find the rabbit, kill the rabbit, and then the lightning's kish, 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 and then all is quiet. And then he says, what have I done? I've killed the rabbit, poor little bunny, poor little rabbit. And it's over, it's the end. Well, that's going to happen with the United States. And so the creator is saying, north winds blow, typhoon, hurricane, smog. Well, we've already been getting that smog with these wildfires. And our air quality has been horrible. And all the stuff that's happening coming out of the plane's back end, all this stuff. Okay. We're getting poisoned. We already know this. And feeling helpless, the tides are turning. Okay. It's a great, beautiful, wonderful thing that needs to happen. It's getting the dandelion out by the root. And so it's going to shine this enormous, beautiful light on the dirty underground stuff and who is quote unquote married to who. That we are falling into this pattern recognition. We've been here before, South Node, done it before. Done what? Aquarius. When our country first started, it was for the people by the people, but not Black people, not people of color, not Indigenous people, not women. And so here's 250 years later, we had our Pluto return, and now it's the fallout. This is where it gets juicy. And because from now for the next several -2 times that Saturn Jupiter come together, They are now and forward minus two times, will be conjuncting in air and fire signs. So everything is accelerated. Take off. Where previously it's been in earth and water, which is heavy, heavy use of Earth's resources. Okay. So let's come back to United States, this full moon. It's so much. All right. So this is going to be a massive reveal of what has been crawling around in the dark, underground, bunkers, what have you. And I kind of feel like we get rocked, accidentally, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, by the creator to reveal something that gives us greater purpose. And this is also going to give us, again, free energy. We've had free energy time and time again. And whoever does it gets offed or humiliated or burnt or stolen from, and there's stuff burnt to the ground, all this kind of stuff. So because we have the internet, the world has gotten a lot smaller. People can't get away with things like that as much any longer. Okay. So, as much as we're saying, and it does suck, you go to a concert, what do you see? Everyone's there with their phones in the air. It's like, we put the damn thing down, stop recording it because it sounds like shit anyway. And you look like an idiot. Me as the performer looking out and seeing a sea of people. I mean, if I were in a rock band, seeing a sea of people holding their phones up. Like, yes, you look like a zombie. Put it down and be in the moment. Dance, right? Um, I can't even imagine what that feels like. Like, it feels horrible to place myself in that energy. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is technology is good, but everything does need to find its fulcrum, its balance point, so that you don't become consumed with anything. It's like it's okay to have a champagne toast for somebody's wedding, but you don't want to become a raging alcoholic, right? Balance. Now, me personally, I gave up alcohol because I had a drinking problem when I was married. And I finally like don't ever drink anymore. Like, why? I know that it's bad. I know that it's a known carcinogen. Would you drink a shot of gasoline? Right? You might as well do the same thing if you're going to drink alcohol. And because I am always on with my like spiritual stuff, it's always on. And spirits and spirit don't mix. So I just don't do it. Anyway, coming back is talk pretty well about that. Okay, so okay, so this full moon, all these things are involved. Sun, Jupiter, the country's north node in the eighth house of shared resources, intimacy, who's in bed with who, power, control, coercion, manipulation by the elites, because it's in Leo. It didn't start that way, but it got that way. So we've made a full circle now, and we've got to drop off the back end. Like when the rocket goes and the back end drops off, we are right there now. It's an intersection in time where other timelines are needing to collapse. It's like there's a burp in the middle, and once you burp out, now you feel better. That's kind of what's going on. Our Earth is belching because she is rebirthing. She is renewing, regenerating. And okay, anyway, let's so the other side of that is the full moon. It is speaking directly to our country's south node. Been there, done that, but we need to renew it and update it, upgrade, update, innovate, restore the free resources, free energy. Now, really, nothing is free. And so what it needs to be is self-sustaining. And I feel the answer to that is magnetics. Anyways, let us now continue. You know, I just want to add one other thing here. The rising sign of Sagittarius, that's the sign of past lives. It is the sign of truth and freedom. But these are the giants whose shoulders we stand on. The philosophers, the wise, the wisdom, the mentors, teachers, leaders. Well, most of them have been career politicians, and it's time to step down. So when we look at something like a meeting of I don't have my political terms correct because I'm unplugged, but I think it'd be right to say the Senate, is that you're not going to see all of these suits and ties and white cotton balls sitting on the top of people's head because it's not just going to be old, staunch white men patriarchs that are career politicians. It can't continue. Okay, we need more diversity. Okay, so there's enough of that. We didn't even get to Trump's chart. So let's do that now. And let's see what that full moon is going to do on his chart. Transit's new transit date, and it's going to be the 29th. And by the way, I do teach everything I know. So if you're interested in learning with me, I would encourage you to get on my Woos letter because that's there that I announce new courses, which I definitely am doing. Oh, hey, I am doing a 10-week psychology and astrology course that starts in September. Okay, now look at this. So this is Trump's chart. Where's the tic-tac-toes? Where's the full moon? What axis is it falling on? For America, it is the resources axis. It is the financial system. And it's everyone that we are negotiating, bargaining, and signing contracts and agreements and pacts with. In his chart, I don't actually feel this is good. So in his chart, all right, I am being drawn to the 21 Mars up here next to Ceres here, speaking to his purpose. I got a whole different feeling. Speaking to his purpose and his destiny. Now, about almost all of our presidents do have a Uranian flavor to them. And his North Node is right next to Uranus. Anyway, 21 Gemini in the 11th house. That is highest goals, dreams, aspirations, but it's your groups, your friends, your colleagues. Mars and Gemini speaking, it was right on top of him. And is heading towards his sun. What I visually see is a pact. Um, I, but there's other stuff going on. It's fulfillment of a purpose. It's what I am very ambitious that I set out to do. Now, Uranus and Sedna came conjunct already. So these are now separating. And this is in his 10th house of career. And it has to do with regeneration, which I see as, well, in Sedna's myth, and where I'm finding it, where my energy is right now, she's floating to the bottom of the sea. But she doesn't die. She becomes this regenerative sea goddess where sea creatures and turtles and dolphins and what am I seeing? Very vibrant, like coral, that kind of life grows from her. So it means I didn't die. So this might be another, wait, Mars, Uranus. It might be another assassination attempt in which we are told he is no longer. But instead, he transitions to something where he can create and regenerate again. Not in a bad way. Now, the words I'm seeing in my mind are both fate and destiny, which means the nodes. So let's see what the nodes are doing. Well, the nodes are coming for him because the south node is what? we exfoliate. It's the dragon's tail. It's what we need to excrete, what we need to poop out. It's in the first house of self. And so that's usually not a very strong transit to go through. It's kind of saying you need to learn how to put your ego aside because it's in the sign of Leo. And you need to learn how to be this is not necessarily a team player, but you have to bargain. You have to wheel and deal. You have to negotiate. We have to be able to settle on something, come to an agreement. Seventh house, North Node. That serves the people, the greater good. It's not about you, but you are valuable. Pardon me, you need to bring your value to the table, to the surface, and let's make positive agreements that benefit all, the greater good. Contributionism. Love this. Love this. Now, this south node, remember the nodes always go backwards. So this south node is going to go on top of his Mars, which is sometimes it's violence or cutting or accidents. While Mars is heading towards his sun, which is his vitality. Now, the 12th house is the house of the invisible. It's sleep, dreams, prayers, meditation, self-sabotage, hidden enemies, and he's got all kinds of stuff in there. And this Sun Jupiter here, it's lighting up intuition. It's lighting up dreams, precognition, seeing stuff before it happens. However, Jupiter, Sun together are heading towards his Pluto, which is burn it to the ground so that we can regenerate from fertile soil for the next generation. Okay, I don't think that's a good sign. Lots of things here are not a good sign for him, or indication, let's say. Um, and the 12th house, a lot of times, well, when I see a death chart, a lot of times the moon is going through the 12th house, or there's a 12th house activation. Because the first house in your chart is, well, your ascendant is when you were born. And the first house is how you show up in the world. So when things are going through the 12th house, these are natural endings, natural conclusions. So just kind of feel like when a movie starts to come to an end, like the music changes and you might start getting some of the credits at the end and the music start, this kind of thing. I have that feeling about this with the and Jupiter a lot of times is death too. It feels amazing to die because you're not stuck in a body anymore. You don't want to grieve when somebody dies. You're grieving for yourself. They're partying. They're having a great time, not needing to be in a container anymore. They're back to a beautiful omnipresent melding with all that is. And when Jupiter gets on top of his Pluto, it is going to expand Pluto, which is death and resurrection, in the house of death and resurrection. Okay, so across the sky, here's the moon, which will be full with that Pluto. It's in his sixth house of what you do on the daily basis. This is the health house. So this isn't good. It could be it could be a health scare. Um, where's Mars? Up here. Because Mars is also surgeries. But where's the moon? It's in the sixth house of health. So big full moon, this could be for some reason, I'm getting opening up. Opening up means surgery, but it could be a sudden something, like maybe there's a collapse and there's like this, stomach cancer or actually like an appendicitis or something. Like a lot of people are getting stuff with their appendix right now or recently. And so the moon emotions in Aquarius is very ballsy. I don't need you to like me. That's what Aquarius energy is, but the moon is in it. So emotionally, it's feeling detached. So every month when the moon is in Aquarius, it's a little bit easier for us to step out of our emotions and being able to see things objectively. We need that every now and then, right? And for him, it's with Pluto and it's with Juno, which is the marriage partner too. Now it's pretty far away from his part of fortune in his series, but that basket, the Barbo's basket, the basket, this configuration with all of the outer planets at 4 degrees by this full moon, Jupiter has moved to 6, which is still within orb. It's only 2 degrees away from 4. So it ignited now when I'm filming this on 22nd. And so it's opening up something that has, if there is such a thing, permanency. It is opening something that is long standing, that is committal, that is changing the tapestry. It's a whole new background. Super crazy, right? Um, what else? His south node is with the moon. Exact at the same, well, at the same degree, almost to the minute. His south node is with the moon. So he was born with maternal woundedness. And there's something about foreign women in there, which is at 20 degrees. All right. So that full moon is highlighting his 6th and 12th house. That's the health house, and it's not so great. It's making something bigger that was previously unseen, and I'm receiving that intuitively. And then for the next 18 months, well, it's almost split in half because his Aquarius energy starts in his relationship house. So this is marriage and partnerships, negotiations, other people, my agreements, and me. First house is me, seventh house is we, us. And so that is where the favor is. It's in the seventh house of other people, and it's not all about you, or it's not all about you anymore. But it doesn't mean I take your value away. It means you do have value, but you got to bring it to the table and share. Enlighten us. Why did I say that? Because the North Node's in Aquarius, enlightenment, awakening. So that's also divulging of the truth. This more disclosure, and that it might involve foreign, which most likely it will be, foreign, other cultures, other lands, other languages, and how we've been kind of in bed with one another. Because the 4 degrees of Neptune is at the door of his ninth house. So this is now the release. Instead of the deception, it's the divulge. Is that a word? Divulsion? Divulge? The state of divulging. And that he has to. It's like I have to own up to my obligations and my mission. So I very, very strongly feel that he is preparing to complete his mission. And I don't mean his personality mission, I mean his soul mission in this lifetime. His purpose, his mission, his greatest dreams and aspirations for this country. It means he's packing it up, is what it means. Um, and I feel that we are moving into okay, forget my feelings. I'm just going to intuitively receive this. It's a entirely different structure of what you see. Okay, there is a shift of power, but it looks like I almost feel like being handed over to light, light people, light beings, we, the galactic forces. Cool. And that once we have total acquisition, then we surrender that and give it unto you. So you is the people. That's us. That's the little people. That's you and I. And you know what's going to help accelerate that is understanding that you have God inside of you, or creator, whatever you label that as. It's your spark. It's your heart space. It is your connection to all. Well, your high heart, your thymus is your connection to all. And now that the sun has moved into Leo today, allow yourself to begin living in your heart, not so much in your head, because your heart can never lie, where your head does to protect you. Your head wants regularity to be able to, well, regularity can lead to complacency, and that is not what we're about. That's not where things are going. Everything's got kind of being like kind of like almost like jostled. Um, so there may be no more complacency, that you must make a conscious choice in who you are and what you want to do. The next words that come in are free reign and farmers. This is interesting. The Farmer's Almanac is being revised. What a funny thing to come through. Revision, revise, and it's being turned over. Interesting. So I wonder who's at the top of that. Less fear and less fear tactics. Okay. Different display advertising. Okay. Well, I guess that answered that question, didn't it? Um, okay. What else is going on? Something on, okay, here's the globe. I got the word pandemic down. It's south of the equator. That's West Africa, Western Central. So right after it goes in, right there, there is something going on right there. Tri Tribal. These are old agreements. Whatever the dark stuff there, that's expired. Expiry is the word. So that can't there's no more energy to keep the fire burning anymore. That's done. The fire needs to go out, and then it's like an escape hatch. There's going to be a mark, like a charring left behind for us to disseminate. There's information in there of former existences of mankind. I almost feel like there's keys to time travel. There's understanding, there's teachings or a substance or anatomy, something anatomical that once this is discovered will give it feels like it has to do with ourselves, almost like flying or elevating or something like this. Time travel, um, this kind of an energy. And then also a renewal of the waters. Very healthy. So what I'm seeing is more like a green water energy, but it doesn't feel soiled. It feels like it's naturally this beautiful, what would that, like a turquoise almost color. I'm in Africa here. And that peace is restored and then true blue. So your real friends, the world's real friends, neighbors, extraterrestrials, other countries, it's a reuniting of harmony. And now I'm seeing like at the end of The Grinch, and they're all, and see, he thought he killed Christmas. He took everything. And boy, was he so greedy. And he's like, that's right. They'll never do this. They'll never do that. And he was mean to that little dog, Max. And at the end, he woke up and real quiet. They're all holding hands. Yahoo, Doris, Bahoo, Doris, whatever it is. And they're all singing. And it was the magic of Christmas, which, which is really, it's the ascension of the spirit. And in Christianity, it's the Holy Spirit. And so we call it all kinds of different things, but you have that. It lives in your heart all the time. And everybody big is trying to say, you don't have that. You come and pay me because it's only through me. Well, now we know that's not true. That it lives in you, and it's just like Ruby, just like with the red slippers. You've known it, you've had it all along. It's been there all along. So this is like a beautiful natural conclusion with an awakening that helps us to stand into our purpose for our soul's evolution in this lifetime and to be able to bring our light to our community, our tribe, our family members of choice. It's amazing. See, that was so important. I couldn't keep it in. I knew I had to make a video about it. And I hope that you enjoy it. And I hope that you share it. And I hope that you will want to learn more if you want to have your own chart done. Or if you want to learn how to read astrology or read energy, I invite you to subscribe to my newsletter on my website. And I will see you whenever I film another video. And so enjoy your life, enjoy this transit, enjoy this extreme big deal full moon we're going to be having on the 29th. Let me know in the comments if you're starting to feel, is this starting to rise in you? Are you feeling that you're on the precipice of greatness, of wonder stuff? Or are you afraid? Are you nervous about something? Are you getting very restless sleep? Are you sleeping like popcorn? What's going on? What's going on for you? Let me know in the comments and I will respond to every single one of you because I'm not at the level of overwhelm yet and I love to hear from you. Okay, you guys, I'm Suzy Woo. I want you to live a life that makes you want to say, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.